Larry, it's all you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rick, for inviting me and allowing me to share. Every time I share, I learn more about what I'm sharing. I use the tool of writing, journaling, and then writing down things as a way to get a whole different side of my brain functioning. And I had an experience this past summer that has just stayed with me, and I decided to write. I have submitted some articles to Lifeline, but that doesn't exist anymore. I'm sad to say I wish they would create it online, but maybe somebody will do that. But this is what I wrote about the experience I had this summer. I had a wonderful experience with my 9-year-old granddaughter on the shore of Lake Superior in August. It was after dark, and we had small ultraviolet lights, and we were looking for emberlites. Emberlites are rocks with the mineral sodalite in them. Sodalite is excited when ultraviolet light shines on it, and it glows a fiery bright orange. Our eyes cannot see ultraviolet light, so they add a bit of blue to the light bulb so you know that you have something that's really working and you can tell when it's on or off, but it's the invisible light that does the shining. The evening was beyond my expectations. I had searched on my own on a different part of Lake Superior and found absolutely nothing. And I was with my granddaughter, and I was so hoping we could find one. Well, we ended up finding about 60 as we walked along the shore. There was quite a wind, so the surf was going in. It was like the ocean, and it was just a treasure hunt where we found more treasure than we expected. Now, for the video Rick is recording, I'm going to shine my UV light on the Emberlites so you can see, and then after the meeting, if you want to come and see them, or if you want to come right now, that's fine too. But it's a orange, like UT orange, but it's like you'll see in a fire wood burning. It's just amazing, and that's the Emberlite that does that. So I've been thinking about that experience since August, and an analogy has taken shape in my mind. A power greater than ourselves is like UV light that shines on us in creation, but we cannot see it with our eyes. When a power greater than ourselves shines on us and in us, though we can't see it, if we pay close attention, we can often feel the results. The results may include serenity, compassion, and strength to walk towards and in recovery, and much more. Though we don't light up like the mineral sodalite, I believe that we glow in other ways. In my many years of OA, I have seen certain people who just radiate recovery, and that has been helpful to me. And I think that's because a light from a power greater than ourselves has shined on them. We may refer to them as higher power with skin on. Now, I believe the reason 12-step programs work is because they invite people into the light that a power greater than ourselves is continuously shining on us and all creation. Though this light is not visible to the naked eye, I believe it can be experienced by the heart. For many OA and AA and all the other anonymous recovery programs, our meetings may appear strange at first. Hi, I'm Larry, a compulsive eater, and you say,
I'm Pat.
that's kind of weird to newcomers. I remember thinking it was weird the first time I was there. And we learned that this is a program for compulsive overeaters, but we don't have diets, and we don't have scales, and we don't count calories. Is this a cult? Some people think so and have concluded. I don't think so. Ultimately, the 12 steps are tools of recovery, and the other people in the program begin to expose us to the gentle, persistent, unconditional, unseeable light of a power greater than ourselves, whatever you call him or her or it. And if you keep coming back, If you listen and share, if you begin to work the steps not perfectly but to the best of your ability, I believe you will learn that you have more ability than you knew. If you work the program, the promise is that you're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness and more. You will comprehend the word serenity and know peace even before you are halfway through. Are these extravagant promises? And we say, we think not. That was another weird thing I heard at first meeting. You see, what's happening is that the unseeable light of a power greater than ourselves is shining on us, exciting the spirit of a power greater than ourselves that lives in all of us as well. When I first came to my OA in my first meeting, I was in crisis. I was chronically obese, as my doctor termed it. There were about 120 pounds more of me there than there are now. My blood pressure and blood sugar were very high. I was put on medication for blood pressure, and my doctor was threatening to put me on medication for blood sugar. I was clinically depressed. I didn't tell my doctor that. I was clearly in midlife crisis, in that my plan to show that I was a good human being, to show myself, because I'd fooled other people. Other people thought I was a good human being, at least some of them. But I had failed to make myself feel that way. And I didn't have a plan B or X or Y or Z because I tried them all and they'd all failed. And every time I failed, it got worse. When I walked into my first OA meeting, I felt and sensed something. I heard people share their stories that resonated so powerfully because they were also my story. Their sharing helped me to understand my own story in new ways. I listened to people sharing and felt, despite the struggles they were having, they were really good people, much more than their problems. It made me wonder, could I be a good person? People shared their isolation, and I suddenly became aware of how lonely I was, yet I let very few people close to me. I was beginning to experience that unseeable light from a power greater than ourselves, and something within me began to be excited. I remember sharing at a meeting that I'd been having a feeling that was new to me. I wasn't high, I wasn't low, I just kind of felt good. My sponsor later asked me if the words comprehend the word serenity meant anything to me. And that's what it was. I was experiencing serenity. I had never known what it was before that. I always wanted to be high, but when I'm high, I always drop to low. Serenity is in the middle and a much better place to live. Serenity gave me the ability to enter my darkness with confidence that I just might find some of a power greater than ourselves light even there. What a journey it has been. It was like a treasure hunt where I found the treasure was much more than I expected. I am healthier because of OA, but I am so much more. I am alive. I am no longer isolated and alone. The wonderful evening I spent with my granddaughter was a gift from a power greater than ourselves that I don't believe would have been possible for me before OA. I am filled with gratitude. There are a couple more things I want to share. The journey through the steps and the tools is not easy. Sometimes we are called to face pain that we had been eating over to numb ourselves so we didn't have to face it. It's not unusual for tears to flow as someone shares their pain. To me, that is a sacred moment because I believe the tears act to focus the unseeable light of a power greater than ourselves like a magnifying glass directly into the darkness or hurt of our lives where it can heal and bring peace and forgiveness. Thus, tears are welcome in our meetings. Darkness is very often part of our journey to recovery. Sometimes it's because of experiences of the past where we've been deeply hurt. Sometimes it's simply because bad things happen to all people. I don't believe a power greater than ourselves tells us to always look on the bright side of life as Monty Python does. But I believe that even in the darkness, especially in the darkness, the unseeable light of a power greater than ourselves shines and excites to life in us that which will never die. Back to the evening with my granddaughter, when we finally agreed we had enough, and Tumaini agreed that before me, because enough isn't part of my vocabulary. I always want more. And she said, I think we found enough, Grandpa. And we started walking back to where our car was parked. We'd walked about a mile down the beach. She said, Grandpa, I've never seen a shooting star. I would like to see one someday. Well, the peak of the Perseid meteor shower was about 2 days past, and I knew that there would still be some meteors shooting across the sky, and the sky was clear. So we found a place where we could sit down and look up, and I told her to unfocus her eyes and look at as much of the sky as she could. It wasn't long before she said, Grandpa, I saw one, and then another, and then 3 at once. After about 20 minutes and many shooting stars, she said, Grandpa, what a wonderful night, but it's way past my bedtime. She'd had enough again. I could have stayed there all night, but I didn't. I think in the end, this wonderful 12-step program lifts us to look up at the beauty of a power greater than ourselves, creation, and to know that we are loved and cherished beyond our knowing. Light above, light below, light around, and light within, and especially light in the darkness. Thank you for letting me share.